YouTube, I'm back, and I don't plan on leaving you guys anytime in the foreseeable future. I plan on staying on YouTube for good. I've got lots of content bottled up inside. I've been taking notes all summer long on videos I want to make, and finally I think I have the opportunity to make these videos for you. I've just been traveling all summer long. If you haven't seen my other life update videos, I'll briefly explain it here once again. I've been to Paris, I've been to Amsterdam, I've been to Denmark, I've been to England, I've been to New York, I've been to Montreal, Quebec. I may have missed a spot there, but yeah, I'm back here in Canada now, finally. And it's good to be back. It's good to be back. Why do I say it's good to be back? Because now I can get into some sort of routine. And all summer long I haven't had any routine. I've been skimping on sleep big time. And I'm really glad to be back in a house where I know I can get into routine very, very quickly. You might ask, why am I not in Hawaii right now? I am going to be in Hawaii October 15th to the 30th at least for the Big Island Fruit Fest. Maybe a little bit longer, maybe a little bit before, we'll see. But right now I've got some business to take care of here in Canada, so I'm going to address the business that needs to be done here in Canada before going on to Hawaii again. But this video I want to mention 6 things that are outside of the scope of raw veganism. Now, I think it's good to have a niche, and I want this channel to be mostly about raw veganism, mostly about the lifestyle that goes hand in hand with raw veganism. And so I think branching out into this video isn't too big of a stretch. But there is definitely more to life than just diet. Way more to life than just diet. Diet is one pillar of not just the health wheel, but of all of life. Some people live just so they can eat. Their whole life is food, 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 food. And if that is what you're passionate about, then fine. Eat a bunch of food. And focus on the food. If that's what you're truly passionate about, if that's what brings you the joy, focus on food. But if you're excited about other things as well, don't be afraid to delve in. Don't be afraid to explore and grow in other areas as well. For me, growing up, my life was not about food at all. I couldn't give a crap about food. I just wanted to eat some junk food, then go back to play video games, go back to doing drugs, and going back to blowing up things with firecrackers and things like that. Like, I was just your regular run-of-the-mill boy, at least here in Canada. But now I've had the pleasure, I've had the divine experience of discovering fruitarianism and playing around with fruitarianism for many years, and I've gotten so much joy and benefit from that. And I want to bring you guys some more things that you can look into. If you've already found out about raw veganism, if you already know about fruitarianism, great. If you haven't, look into that. But this video is going to talk about 6 other things that you probably want to look into. So the first thing is cryptocurrencies. Cryptocurrencies. What are cryptocurrencies? Cryptocurrencies are currencies that you can use online to buy and sell things with. Or you can use them to buy things with, and people can use them to buy things from you with. So if you want to sell an iPhone, you can sell it for a certain amount of cryptocurrencies. If you want to buy some Crocs, then you can go ahead and buy some Crocs using cryptocurrencies. And it just doesn't need to be for when you're using your laptop. You know, you can even take your cryptocurrencies and put them on like a little debit card, a little cryptocurrency debit card, and you can go to a store and you can swipe the debit card and pay for things in a store using cryptocurrencies. And as you know, a currency is just it's money. Currencies is money. Currency is money. And there's the Canadian currency, there's the American currencies, there's the euro, there's the yen, there's the Thai baht. There's so many different currencies out there. And those are centralized by government. Most cryptocurrencies, not all, but most cryptocurrencies are decentralized, meaning there's no central governing body. And the world, really, anyone who owns part of that cryptocurrency has a say in how that cryptocurrency gets used and what the value, what the worth of that currency is. That is very, very different to how the American dollar is, how the Canadian dollar is, where the government, if they want more money, they just print more money. Cryptocurrencies aren't like that. The way cryptocurrency goes up and down in value, there's many ways, but one of the ways is people can mine the cryptocurrencies using the computer. Another way is people can just hold on to a lot of cryptocurrencies, or they could sell a bunch of cryptocurrencies. They can be buying and selling a bunch of things, having a lot of transactions going on. Many things like that influence the worth of the cryptocurrency. But the cool thing about cryptocurrencies now is that it's the early days. We're in the early days of cryptocurrencies. So if you go to a website like coinmarketcap.com and you look at like the top 20 cryptocurrencies out there right now, if you were to invest in at least 10 of those and hold for a good 4 to 5 years, chances of you making money are huge. The chances of you making money on the top 20 cryptocurrencies is huge right now. So I would encourage you to look into cryptocurrencies. Specifically, I would recommend looking into currencies such as Ethereum, Dash, Ripple, NEM, Monero, and of course, if you haven't already heard of Bitcoin, then look into Bitcoin as well. Do your research on those cryptocurrencies. Those are the ones I'd recommend looking into. Litecoin as well. Litecoin's another one. But yeah, that's a place. Those are some coins to get started with. If you actually want to get started with buying and selling cryptocurrencies, then I would recommend looking into Coinbase. I'd recommend looking into Kraken. And if you want more information about cryptocurrencies in general, use websites like steemit.com and use websites like reddit.com and just read all about cryptocurrencies. Educate yourself. Look into this area. Alright? Now before you go ahead and invest your money in cryptocurrencies, just know that I'm not giving you financial advice. I'm not giving you investment advice. I'm just saying that this is something to look into. The second thing you want to look into is intermittent fasting, water fasting, and dry fasting. These are all ways of just giving your body a break from food completely and allowing your mind and body to focus and shift into other gears that you normally wouldn't be able to because you'd be digesting food. Right, so most people are eating cooked food and they're putting a heavy burden on their body. They're sending all the blood from their brain to their stomach, to their gut to break down the food and to deal with the process of digestion. But when you're no longer digesting food, your body is freed up with so much energy. Body is freed up with so much energy. Sure, we do still need some nutrients, and that's why I recommend eating a fruitarian diet. I recommend eating a raw vegan diet full of lots of fruits and vegetables, mostly fruit. But even with eating a fruit diet, the body still has to process the digestion. It still has to digest things. It still has to work hard to break things down. So that's even why I recommend eating sweet, juicy foods. It's even lighter than stuff like dates and bananas and avocados. Focus on the sweet and juicy foods. Even juice. Just go on a little juice fast for a couple days or something and notice how much more energy you have. And just notice how much quicker things heal, how much quicker things regenerate. So definitely look into intermittent fasting, look into water fasting, and look into dry fasting. Don't necessarily all of a sudden go and do all three of these things, but research them and maybe get inspired by a few videos on YouTube. A few of the things out there are quite good. I'll post one of my favorite videos regarding intermittent fasting, water fasting, and dry fasting in the description below, so you can check that out. But just know that if you want to heal something, the body heals itself. There's no food or supplement that you're going to take that's going to rapidly speed up the healing process. You might be able to take some drug that makes you not be able to feel the pain anymore and be like, oh look, I took this anti-inflammatory drug and now my knee pain doesn't hurt anymore and must be healed. When you take drugs to heal, you're probably just taking drugs that eliminate the symptom. And the way drugs eliminate symptoms is they just basically snip the fire alarm that's going off inside your body. So if you're experiencing like headaches a lot, that's an alarm from your body saying, hey, we have an issue. You got a freaking headache, man. Deal with it. Go rest and go stop doing what you did to create this headache in the first place. But if you're like, oh, I got a headache, I'm just going to take a pill and it's going to get rid of the headache. And people take these pills every single day and they never actually get to the root cause of the issue. So just know that with intermittent fasting, with water fasting, with dry fasting, you can rapidly speed up the process of healing. That's why it's called fasting. It's much faster to heal when you're not having to digest so much food. And intermittent fasting, you don't need to like not eat for 20 hours a day and only give yourself 4 hours to eat. With intermittent fasting, it could be as simple as waiting until 10 a.m. to eat and then stopping eating around 7 p.m. It could be something as simple as that. Everyone has their different ranges for what size window they want to give themselves to eat at feeding time. But do whatever works best for you and don't be dogmatic about it as well. I remember Tim Sheaf was telling me he was hanging out with Wim Hof, and apparently Wim Hof only eats like one meal a day. And it's normally like, whatever, like between like 2 and 4 p.m. or something. But Tim one morning saw Wim having some food in the breakfast and food for breakfast. And Tim was like, Wim, what's up? I thought you only have one meal a day. And Wim was like, don't be dogmatic. So just have an ideal set time that you want to eat in and then focus on eating in that time, and the rest of the time do other things. Focus on other areas of life. The third thing I recommend looking into is life force retention. Life force retention is also known as NoFap. It's also known as not masturbating. It's also known as holding in your load. So you can still go ahead and have sex, have all the sex you want, but just instead of climaxing, instead of reaching orgasm, just hold in that life force and just be on the edge the whole time. You're going to feel so much better for the rest of the day, and even the day after, if you just hold in that life force. Anytime you masturbate and blow your load, or you masturbate and you reach orgasm or ejaculation, whatever word you want to use to describe what happens when you orgasm, whenever that happens, you reach such a high, and then what goes up must come down, and it comes down a little bit lower than you were before when you were very content. So typically you go through your day and you're like, oh, I'm kind of horny, or I'm kind of stressed and I want to lose some stress, I want to reduce my stress, I'll just masturbate to orgasm. So you're like, boom, you feel so good, and you're like, the stress is gone, and then it's just like, and then you have to recover from that. So there's definitely a dip in energy that occurs when you're releasing your life force. Doesn't mean you never are allowed to masturbate, never allowed to orgasm, never allowed to have sex or anything, but just if you're gonna partake in any of these activities, do it consciously, and if you do want to blow your load, do it every now and then, but not every single day like most people do. A lot of guys out there, myself included, in the past at least, would masturbate every single day, multiple times a day, and that's completely normal. I mean, it's not normal, but it's very common. It's very common. I wouldn't say it's normal, because if we were in nature, walking around nature, and there's a bunch of natural humans out in nature walking around the tropics naked and stuff, I don't think you'd walk around the bush and see a bunch of guys like masturbating all the time. We'd be making love with one another, we'd be busy working on projects. I think the only time we'd really be blowing our load is when we're trying to create another baby, when we're trying to impregnate a girl, or if we're just, maybe if you're not straight, then you're masturbating and blowing your load with another guy, whatever. But I don't think we'd be having sex all the time, we'd be having sex all the time, sure, but we wouldn't be watching porn, we wouldn't be masturbating every single day and orgasming multiple times a day. There's just this dip of energy that occurs. So instead, focus on life force retention. Focus on life force retention. Focus on holding in that life force. And then you can cultivate that life force as well. You can cultivate that life force with yoga, with meditation, with different willpower challenges. And it's a beautiful way to live, knowing that you have all this life force inside you. And if you're having sex, most people, sex is finished when they blow their load. But if you don't blow your load, if you don't orgasm, then when you stop having sex, you really haven't stopped having sex. Like, you're still having sex, because you haven't blown your load yet. So it's like the sex never ends. Anything you do is sex. You're picking up this crock, it's sex. You're holding an iPhone, you're reading something, it's still sex, because you haven't finished yet. So your sex can go on and on and on for days and months if you don't blow your load. Once you blow your load, okay, you finish having sex, you rest, and you regenerate, you heal. So if you do slip up, you do blow your load, don't worry, you can get right back on track, and just take that time to rest and heal and regenerate in other areas of your life. The fourth thing that you want to look into is mental reprogramming with audiobooks and mind movies. If you want to learn how to make a mind movie, check the link in the description. I show how to make a mind movie down there. And if you want to get into audiobooks, check out audible.com. You can download a bunch of audiobooks there. One audiobook I highly recommend is The Compound Effect. There are so many good audiobooks out there, though, so be sure to sample a few and just buy one you think is going to be good, buy one that someone recommends, and then just listen to that on repeat. Listening to an audiobook just once isn't good enough. That'd be like going to the gym once and being like, oh wow, I really felt my muscles there. But since I already went to the gym, I'm never going to go again. I'm going to go do yoga now. I'm going to go do yoga once. Doing yoga once is not enough. And then after yoga, you say, oh, I've done yoga, I'm going to go meditate now. Doing meditation once is not good enough. If you go into the gym 3 to 4 times a week, that's awesome. If you're doing yoga 2 to 3 to 4 times a week, that's awesome. You're going to get a lot more benefit from doing things back to back to back like that. If you're meditating and you say, oh wow, that meditation was great, but I'm going to move on to something else now, you're not really going to reap all the rewards of meditation. And if you eat an apple and you say, oh, that apple was so good, I ate an apple today, I'm really healthy, now I'm going to go back and eat junk food. It doesn't work that way. You've got to eat apples at the exclusion of eating crappy food. You've got to meditate at the exclusion of filling your mind with crappy stuff. You've got to listen to great audiobooks over and over and over again at the exclusion of listening to really crappy stuff on the news or gossip on the phone or whatever it is. So be sure to get some good audiobooks. If you want to check out my top 12 recommended audiobooks, you can check the link in the description below, and I'll give you my top 12. There's some really good game changer ones in there, life-changing audiobooks in there. But it's very important to listen to the same message over and over and over again. Another analogy is, if you want to try and chop down a tree, you don't just take an axe once and go BAM! And the tree falls down and you make a big change in your life. No, you gotta make hundreds and thousands of chops at that tree, and then finally it'll go down. It'll make a change. So if you want to make a change in your life, start by feeding your mind the right things. What you put in is what you get out. The fifth thing I recommend looking into is meditation. And meditating is as simple as just sitting for 30 seconds to a minute and just closing your eyes and focusing on your breath. If you can do that for a minute, awesome, you've just meditated. In fact, we can do it right now here together. I don't know how long this is going to be, but I think it'll be approximately 30 seconds. So if you're not ready yet, give yourself 10 seconds to get ready. If you're seated in a chair, that's okay. You don't need to get on the floor for this, but if you're already on the floor, awesome. So you can either sit cross-legged if it's comfortable for you, or if you're sitting on a chair, just feet flat on the floor, legs uncrossed, arms uncrossed, and just rest your hands wherever they are. Close your eyes and breathe in through your nose and breathe out through your nose. Breathe in through your nose and out through your nose. Bring your attention to your nostrils. Feel the air going in and out of your nostrils. Now bring your attention to all the points of contact. Your hands on your legs, your butt on the seat or the floor, your feet on the floor. Now bring your attention back to your breath one last time. And in your own time, when you're ready, you can open your eyes again. Wow. Colors are so much brighter. That's really cool. That was amazing. That was some meditation right there. So look into meditating for sure. Meditation has changed my life and benefited me just as much, if not more, than adopting a raw food, raw vegan, fruitarian diet. Alright, I've gotten so many benefits from meditating, it's insane. In fact, if you want to check out a playlist with all the benefits of meditating, I will put that playlist in the description below, and you can go watch like 17 videos on the benefits of meditating. This is not something to take lightly and think, oh, it's just meditating, it's for monks, it's for these people in the Himalayas, it's not for me, I'm too busy. I've got other things to do, and I can't sit down and focus for long enough. These aren't excuses for not meditating. These are reasons for meditating. Right? If you don't have time, if you don't think you can sit down and focus for more than a minute, it's a really strong suggestion on my part for you to meditate. Highly recommend meditating. And you only need to do it for a minute. You only need to do it for 5 minutes tops if you want. Just allow yourself to want to meditate more and more and more. So next up, we've got the float tanks. If you've never floated before in a float tank, then I suggest that strongly as well. But I'd only recommend floating if you know how to meditate for at least 10 to 15 minutes. If you can't sit still for 10 or 15 minutes at meditation, floating probably isn't for you just yet. But if you can learn to master the 10 or 15 minute meditation sit, then floating is for sure the coolest thing out there for you. Essentially what you do with a float tank is you walk into this building that's called the Float Spa, and you pay them whatever, $40 for the 90 minutes that you're allowed to go in there for. And you walk into this private room, and there's this pod in there. There's like this box in there. And you open the lid up, or some of them don't even have lids, they're just open as they are. You open the lid typically, and you step in, and you realize your foot is in all this kind of warm water. But it's actually not warm water, it's just body temperature water. So your feet don't even really feel the difference in temperature of the air and the water. It's everything's the same temperature. Like as soon as your foot hits the water, it like adapts the temperature right away, because the water is typically the same temperature as your body. So you're in there and it's dark, and you close the lid behind you and you start laying down in this water. It's like this deep, it's only like 2 feet deep, but you realize instead of sinking, you float, because there's 800 pounds of Epsom salts in the water. So the water is super thick with salt. So you definitely don't want to touch the water and then touch your eyes. You'll burn your eyes. But you just lay there and you float, and it's silent in these float tanks, and it's pitch black. You don't see anything. The only thing you see is the things your mind is making you see. These like little hallucinations. You're like, oh my god, maybe there's like a pinprick of light there. You're like, no, that's just in my mind. But you're just floating there, and there's no sense of anything other than your mind, other than your mental activity. And you lay there for 90 minutes or 60 minutes, however long you want to go, and you just start blissing out, man. It's like meditation on steroids. It's so powerful. I've brought myself to tears in float tanks a couple times, just having these beautiful thoughts of just immense gratitude, immense appreciation for life and my family and my friends, and oh man, floating is amazing. And even I've had bad floating experiences where I'm laying there and I'm all like, oh, how much longer is this gonna be? I can't stand it anymore. I'm kind of bored. What do I do? This sucks. I just can't calm myself down. And all of a sudden, the music comes in really slowly and gently, and you hear it come in, and it wakes you up, and you're like, oh, I guess it's time to get out now. And then you get out of the float tank after lying there for 90 minutes thinking you haven't been doing much except stressing out. But you get out and you realize how relaxed you really are. Like, you get out of a float tank and you're like, whoa, man, I'm on cloud 9 right now. This is bliss. And just like meditating, you really get more benefit from floating the more often you go. So I recommend, if you're going to float once, at least float once more again a few days later, just to get that back-to-back benefit. And before you go floating, don't eat or drink anything for 4 hours. And make sure you go at a time between like 2 p.m. or like noon and 6 p.m. So go between like noon and 6 p.m. And I suggest that time because that's typically the easiest time for people to take naps. You typically take a nap between noon and 6 p.m., a little power nap or something at least. But you typically don't wake up at like 7 a.m. and then go take a nap at like 9 a.m. And some people go floating in the morning, and it's like, I don't know how people go float in the morning. Because floating is, it's like a cross between meditating and taking a nap. But anyways, I recommend checking it out. That's enough talk about float tanks and meditation for this video. The sixth thing, and the last thing in this video I want to tell you guys about, encourage you to look into, is Wim Hof breathing. So look into Wim Hof's breathing technique. This guy can withstand cold temperatures like nobody's business. In fact, it is his business to withstand cold temperatures. He's run around the North Pole in his underwear, barefoot, I'm pretty sure. He's sat in cold tanks. He's set the record for like the longest time in a cold tank. And he does it all using his breath. And he not only can withstand cold temperatures, but they've injected him with like deadly bacteria, deadly viruses, and he's boosted his immune system in a snap just by practicing his method of breathing. So his method of breathing looks something like this. He spends about a minute or two breathing in really, really deeply and just letting it out like this, like. He does like 30 to 50 breaths like that. He counts his breaths, and he gets really lightheaded during that period of time. Like, I just got a little bit lightheaded just then doing those 3 breaths. And once he's like fully charged up from doing those breaths, then he exhales everything like. And he'll sit with no breath in his body for a good 60 seconds. And then once he's ready to breathe again, he'll take a big breath back in. And he'll hold that for about 15 to 20 seconds. And that's 1 round. And he'll do however many rounds he feels like doing. Maybe he'll do 5, maybe he'll do 10. And he says this is just a really great way to energize yourself, a really great way to alkalize yourself, a really great way to boost your immune system, a really great way just to get oxygenated. And disease, specifically diseases like cancer, they can only exist in anaerobic environments. And anaerobic means without oxygen. So when you bring in all this oxygen, you're creating this really clean and safe space where cancer really cannot exist, it cannot grow, and cannot perpetuate itself. If you're like at the stage 4 cancer or whatever, then this might not apply to you or someone you know, but who has stage 4 cancer. But if you're in the early stages of cancer, there are many ways of reversing it. And if you're into prevention as well, and this is another great way of preventing yourself from getting cancer, is just creating an aerobic environment. Aerobic means with oxygen. So the more oxygen that's present in your body, the less likely cancer is going to grow and develop. And same with alkalizing your body. And if you're in a really acidic environment, that's where cancer thrives, in acidic environments. But if you're really alkaline, by eating lots of fruits and vegetables, and by being really low in stress, then you're going to create an alkaline environment in your body. And bringing in oxygen is very alkalizing. If you want to learn more about Wim Hof, check out the links in the description below. And also you can check out his app in the iTunes store, and you can download the app. I have his app on my phone, and I use it every single day. And it's just been a nice thing to bring into my repertoire, along with meditation and raw foods and life force retention. So that's it, guys. I hope you got something from this video. I tried to make it under 30 minutes. I definitely succeeded with that, so that's great. But yeah, props to you guys. Kudos to you guys for watching this whole video. And if you took notes, awesome. If you didn't take notes, it's okay. You can check out the highlights, the summary in the description below. I've got some work to do after I stop recording. I gotta go put all this resources down there for you guys. But if you made it to the end of the video, let me know. Comment down below saying I watched to the end of the video. That would be very, very much appreciated. And thank you guys so much for being patient with me in not being able to upload. I was just in Cedar-Woolley, Washington with Doug Graham at his retreats. There was absolutely no Wi-Fi there that was good enough for uploading. I couldn't even download apps. The only thing I could do was like send messages on Messenger and send emails. Other than that, there was like no good internet. But I'm home now. I'm back. I'm going to be cranking out the videos as much as I can, trying to keep them super high quality for you guys. And I'm looking forward to connecting with you guys again next summer, perhaps at the Woodstock Fruit Festival once again. If you guys want to sign up for the Woodstock Fruit Festival now, while the prices are really cheap, man, this year was amazing at the festival. But if you want to sign up now for next year, use the coupon code COMEFRUIT yourself, and you'll save $100. I'll see you guys there.